Hello and welcome, guys, to a discussion topic. What we do here is, I have planned out a discussion, and it could be verses, it can be news coming up about stuff, it can be pretty much whatever I and what you guys, talk about. Well, what you guys want me to talk about. Now, in this discussion topic, it's gonna be about one of the thing, like a pretty good amount of things to know about, and it's gonna be involving one of my favorite games, which will be about Friday. Well, actually, no, not Friday. It'll be about Dragon Ball. Oh damn! I forgot what it was about. Well, I gotta think about it real quick. But while we do the discussion topic, I am gonna be playing Friday the 13th. I might rage a little bit. I mean, I might get a little bit upset, guys, while trying to do a discussion topic because of the fact about how you know. If anybody's played this game, you obviously know there's a lot of issues when it comes to dealing with players because, you know, you have players killing themselves, killing you, like players themselves killing you, or just flat out, you know, Jason being a prick and somehow not working out the way it should. But yeah. Let me rethink of what the discussion topic was going to be, guys, because I had it in my head and I completely forgot about it. That's the first time in a long time where I've came up in a lobby by myself. You know what? We'll do the discussion topic about this one, guys. Dead by Daylight versus Friday the 13th. I think that'd be a really good topic to talk about, since these two are technically rivals of going after each other. Well, used to be. Probably still is, but, you know, not in the way everybody is, like, thinking of it. Anyways. Okay, so these two games have been going at it ever since one came out, then Dead by Daylight came out, and officially they've tried to figure out which game is the best horror game. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm in the middle, because each game has their each game has their greatest achievements and each game has their greatest flaws. I'll give you guys a rundown on each game, and we'll go from there. Then I'll tell you the good things about the game and the bad things that the game did. One game did better than one game, and the other game did worse than the other game. With that being said, let's get down to this topic. Friday the 13th has been known as the series of Jason Voorhees. We've all known this ever since the very beginning. Ever since the very first episode of Friday the 13th, coming from his mother all the way down to endless amount of movies portraying the new Jason, which AKA guys gives you all these different Jasons, and the killer named Roy, which I'm not calling him a Jason because, you know, I don't call fake killers Jason. Anyways, but yeah, with that being said, guys, like I said, Friday the 13th has been a very, very big series. It has been a very, you know, it was a really good series. Like, it was a good movie. Good movies. Until they got a little bit needy with it. They got a little bit too much, wanting to be the best in the world type, movie. Which, a lot of movies have done that, especially horror films. Horror films do that, you know, pretty typical. But they still do pretty good at it. And, that's, but yeah. And the game has elevated a little bit. Each Jason has their strengths and weaknesses. Jason can break down doors, which he has been shown to do that many times, busting through them, just breaking them down completely. Yeah, people have shown that they can fight back from Jason using a gun, using any weapon they can think of. And showed how vicious, and Jason has shown how vicious he can be killing in the movies. One movie, though, that has sadly not been touched by this game is Jason X, which, if you guys have not heard anything, the reason Friday the 13th has not had any recent updates, recent add-ons, or anything is because of the fact of this court deal that they have been happening on them for as long as I can remember. That is the only reason you are not seeing Jason have his the Friday the 13th have any more news with any add-ons. They were gonna add Jason X, and I'm pretty sure they were also gonna maybe think about adding his mother into it, but with the court order deal, that ain't gonna happen. Which obviously, guys, it really blows for me because Friday the 13th has been one of my favorite games. It's been a game that I put many hours working into, have not regretted putting this many hours into it. But yeah, that's the bad news when it comes to people being greedy with money, and I believe that's what the whole problem with the guy anyways. And Jason's in that doorway. Okay. But yeah, like I said, guys, the battle between Jason Voorhees and but yeah, each different Jason, like you all guys have seen, have all their difference in strength, weaknesses. Every Jason has that. But their powers, you know, they all have just one set power, which doesn't leave a lot to Jason being a little bit different in how he kills. But it does do the job. I mean, but they do a decent enough job to keep up with the different types of kills. The types of kills for weapon kills is completely different when you're using a Jason that has a different set weapon. Not a lot of games would do that, especially with one named killer called Jason.
There, got it.
You know, they wouldn't add any flair to the killer in that type of way. But they do a really good job in the development of Jason's character and the point of kills and everything. The kills are pretty graphic in this game. You know, they get graphic from getting their head punched off to leg snapped completely off to to pretty much anything you can think of as a kill. So kills, obviously, guys, is one of the best things about this game. But enough about what Friday is about. Well, also, but the survival, but the way to play Friday the 13th, guys, is pretty simple. You're having a Jason come after you, and you need to fix the generators. Well, not fix the generators. You need to fix the car, boat, or phone fuse to call the cops. And wait till the cops get there, or find the battery, gas, and keys, and there you go. Or find the gas and propeller. Then escape through there. There's so many different ways, guys, that you can escape, and Jason is really put to the test for whoever's playing them, because you have to train your mind in so many levels on how to, you know, keep your eye on somebody messing up and you hearing the propeller sound, or somebody messing up on the phone and you go break that. Cops get called and then you have to rush the win. You got so many things to keep your eye on in this game that it's pretty difficult to play as Jason. Some people would say it's a walk in the park. Some people would say they hate being Jason because of how hard it is. Really, it depends on the survivors who you go up against. It depends on the Jason you're using. It depends on a lot of things that make this game good and bad all at the same time. So yeah, basically, like I said, guys, you're dealing with Jason. You're trying to fix the car, fix the boat, or fix the phone fuse to call the cops, and then escape. Or you could do pretty much one of the hardest things ever in a game, and that is to kill Jason off completely. Which obviously, to do that, you need to have Tommy Jarvis. You need to grab his sweater and perform the kill correctly. And then obviously Jason doesn't stay dead, you know, obviously, because everybody knows who Jason is, how strong he is, and all this other stuff. They all know that he's not really dead, but we all know he's, you know, he can't come back after that in this one server. So then it's time to go off looking for another. It's time to go back into the lobby, look for another Jason. And sometimes, guys, the big pain is, oh, you know, there can always be somebody who beats Jason again. You know, that's one of the things a lot of people hated about this game was, it was a really repetitive deal. Oh, do I not have any firecrackers? Oh, what happened to my firecrackers, dude? Yeah, guys, that's pretty much, that's, Friday the 13th for you. Now, time to go to Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is another survival horror game, but this one adds a little bit of twist. There's not just one set killer, which obviously a lot of people are, happy that they don't have a set killer like Friday the 13th does. Which, obviously is to be expected, guys. When somebody calls, when they're calling this game, Friday the 13th, it's set on one killer. There's no reason to say there's more than one different type of killer. Because, why call it Friday the 13th and not have his name Jason embedded in the game? That, realistically, guys, that kind of, does a big flip off to all the movies that Jason has ever had, to the creators who have had this game made, to so many different things that Jason was set upon, that Friday the 13th is basically built upon. You kind of have it like, this whole set deal where it's like, excuse me, why have Jason's name in this deal if it's not just him when he's made Friday the 13th a scary time? So, but anyway, guys, enough of that explanation. We got off Friday the 13th. Dead by Daylight, obviously, like I said, has different set killers that we've never seen in a movie, and now they're getting pretty much every horror character. Going from Michael Myers to Hillbilly to Freddy Krueger, to Saw, and now, the recent news that I've heard from my friends, is that now we are going to be getting Scream. Which, I don't know about everybody else, but, to everybody, Scream is a pretty, influential, scary villain. There is no set, person who could be Scream. He's pretty strange. He's a
motherfucking cop out here to Camp Crystal Lake.
He's a killer who will call you and terrorize you with horror movie details, and yeah, just is a really freaky character. But anyway, yeah, Scream is just a normal human being that people have portrayed him to be a, obviously a supernatural killer, which he's not. So, obviously he's gonna have a disadvantage like Saw and Anarchy do in the game. But that obviously, that does not take away from the horror factor of those characters. So, yeah, like I said, guys, we are getting Scream in the game.
Thank God it actually fit.
Oh, damn.
Please, no!
Damn it! Just no!
All set. Time to get out of here.
But yeah, guys, so yeah, we are now getting Scream. So yeah, that's awesome. Really, really good detail to know about that because, everyone's gonna get psyched when they have a new killer come out in the video game. Yeah, I hate to say it, guys, but I think I'm dead. Oh. Whew! But, yeah, anyways, like I said, guys, it gets you to that point. Anyways, but, yeah, we're getting Scream in Dead by Daylight, and in Dead by Daylight, each killer has their own unique set, of powers, It's not one set like how Jason's is, each has a different character power. There's a Trapper, Michael Myers, which stalks people, Saw, which puts traps on people, yada yada, list is endless. So there's never really a dull moment unless you keep playing the killer over and over again, which you do have that tendency because a lot of people like certain characters. You can't blame them, but you also, are like, ugh. In Dead by Daylight, you have generators to fix. You fix the max is 5, and that's usually depends on how big your party is, because like when you officially start out fully into the game, you always have to start out with 4 survivors, 1 killer, which the killer is which you never know who the killer is. So again, like I said, it's unpredictable. So it's always unpredictable with that. So there's that. Now also when it comes to this when it comes to this part in the game now, when you play in Dead by Daylight, you have perks. You can always, run. It's infinite stamina, unlike this game. But the killer isn't always usually a little bit ahead of you in speed, but that doesn't mean you can't outrun them. I've outran a killer millions of times. So it's not impossible, but it's pretty dang impossible. Differences in Dead by Daylight, you can't fight back. As in, you can't, turn around and hit them, shoot them. You can lead them into you can drop a pallet in front of them and that stuns them. But, that doesn't knock them down and give you, like, a chance to go up and teabag him in the face and then he sits up. No. It's a stun that usually lasts for about a couple seconds. Then he can break the pallet and come right after you or just walk around it. Who knows in this scenario, but, hold on. But yeah, anyway guys, with how the palette is, but yeah, also, you can technically kind of fight back because you can get, inventories that, you can get a flashlight, which, you point at the killer long enough, it'll flash them and then you blind them. You also have med kits that you can heal yourself faster. Toolboxes, you can fix the generator faster or break the hooks. So there's not, when I say you can't fight back, I'm basically meaning you can't pick up a shotgun or something that can break out of the killer's grasp. You can't do that, but you can necessarily fight back in a way of keeping the killer away from you. But yeah, fix generators and you open a gate and then you can escape that way. But you can also escape through what is it? You can escape through a thing called the hatch, which, be careful on this one, guys, because a new update has came out for Dead by Daylight, making it to where the killer can close the hatch, and when that happens, it does trigger a collapsing time, which the entity will kill you if not the killer. But you can still escape, once the killer closes the hatch, which it will spawn open no matter how many generators there are, and it will spawn in whenever you're the last one alive. So keep that in mind. But yeah, whenever you're the last one alive, that is when this hatch will be opened. Usually the killer will start looking for it. He closes it, then he starts the elapse time, which like I said, you can open the gate. You can open a gate at that time. But, like I said, you gotta be careful, because if you do not open the gate within the time limit, the entity will kill you. So, yeah. Which the reason they had to do this, guys, and this is not yet confirmed, but I feel like it's pretty much the most obvious answer, is because, in Dead by Daylight, and even I have done this before, the killers always had a tendency to camp out the hatch, which gives the survivor a complete opportunity of fixing the generator. Or, well, not or, and also, if the killer isn't camping the hatch, which was kind of a, you know, kind of a, oh, how do you say this, a zero chance in hell that, a zero chance in the world that this killer isn't camping the hatch when they find it. It gives you, like, no time limit at all, which people can camp constantly and not, you know, camp constantly. The round lasts like an hour. I don't know if a match has ever lasted that long, but you know what I mean. It lasted a pretty long while than what a round should actually last. So, you know, the killer could either disconnect, survivor could disconnect, and, you know, or the game just crashes and nobody wins anything. So, that's why I'm saying the entity, they made this new update to keep that from happening for the survivors and the killer. So yeah, guys, like I said, now, if you are, a survivor, and everyone's dead and he closes the hatch, it will immediately spawn the countdown. So all you have to do is just go to a gate, try to open it while the killer is obviously going to be camping these gates, and escape before the entity or the killer gets to you. Now, with that being said, guys, sadly, I have seen this happen. I've been in that position millions of times, and I will say, at that moment, it does not, like, the exit gates are powered up or not, and you get knocked down and the killer just standing right over you. Most likely in this, and I'm just saying this as a kind of an obvious deal for me, like, I don't think they'd change this, but at that last stage, if you get knocked down and the killer for some reason leaves you, obviously probably to watch the entity kill you and, you know, brag about it, and you try picking yourself up, like just recovering as usual, sadly, I will say this, guys, if you're in that final stage and you get knocked down and the exit gates are not, and an exit gate is not open, you basically might as well just accept your death, because in that state, which a lot of people might disagree on this, as kind of a, oh, come on, you know, let us do it this way. The exit gate, even though the exit gates are powered and you're the last one and you go down like that, that does not sadly give you the ability to fully recover yourself at that moment. Like, you know, go from going on the, you know, laying down stage to being one hit. It won't work that way. Unless you have a perk that lets you do that, then basically if you do, then good, you're lucky. If you don't, you're shit out of luck. But yeah, that's gonna be the case with that. But yeah, like I said, guys, that's basically the explanation, between the difference between Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. So now time for the discussion on which, you know, the greatest things about a game and the difference between the thing. Which when I discuss that it will be. I will give a brief explanation on a great deal. You know, what's better in one game than in the other game. And then give a brief explanation of what's bad in one game and bad and you know what I mean. So okay guys, with this being said, so the first great thing about Dead by Daylight that I've already kind of explained the reasoning for it,
It actually worked.
is the unpredictability. That is really one of the best things about Dead by Daylight, that Friday the 13th, you know, necessarily, you know, I can't really say they, you know, I can't obviously say they don't understand it, because obviously they have to understand it in order to, you know, they obviously do understand this unpredictability scenario, guys. And why'd you get out of the car in the first place, you dummy? Okay, and when I say unpredictability, first of all, guys, the best thing about the game, like I said, is unpredictability. The game Dead by Daylight makes it to where you don't know who the killer is at all. The only time you will know is when you're playing the game mode Kill Your Friends. That is where 5 people can play in a lobby. You and 4 of your friends, and no matter what, all you guys can choose who would be the killer. So yeah, there's that. Obviously, you know. So, like I said, unless you're playing Kill Your Friends, you're never gonna know who the killer is, because it won't be either one of you 4. Because the game does not let you do that, because you know that is kind of gives you and everybody else that's in the party unfair advantage, and it gives it'll give the others kind of a gives you unfair advantage. It basically just says, hey guys, you know, I'm not gonna kill you guys so you can farm for points. You know, it's kind of a cheat mechanic. So yeah, like I said, guys, that's why they did that. But yeah, unpredictability also, it's not one set killer. It is many others, so you know, so you won't know what their power is. Yeah, you won't know anything until you see that character, that killer. So, there's the great thing about Dead by Daylight that has Friday beat, is that, you know, like I explained earlier, Friday has a predictability because, you know, it's gonna be Jason all the time. It shows you in the very beginning of the of starting up the round. It gives you the biggest knowledge of saying, hey, this is the type of Jason you're fighting. You'll know, like, if you've studied up on their, you know, on their strengths and weaknesses, you'll know.
Please, no!
So there's that scenario. Like I said, but yeah, it's so yeah, there's the unpredictability that Dead by Daylight has that's better than what Friday the 13th has. Now, one of the bad things that Dead by Daylight has that Friday the 13th necessarily doesn't have is camping killers. Dead by Daylight has had serious amount of problems with people camping the hook. The killer knocks down a survivor, places them on the hook, and stands there in their face. Basically, it's basically a face. That's called face camping, which puppy guarding is constantly, like going around, and like constantly going back a little bit to look around, and then going right back to the person. Then you also have guarding, which that means just going around that area, not necessarily going around, going back to look at him in the face. It's just guarding that area. You always will have that scenario in a killer because once you get on the hook, you have a set time limit before you enter stage 2 of the entity trying to kill you, and then in stage 3 you're automatically dead. Which that means you have 2 times where you can potentially escape off the hook until you're dead. The max to get off the hook is 2. You can get off the first time, but if you don't get off the first time, that doesn't mean you're dead, but that means if you get on the hook again, you're dead. So, but yeah, killers will camp you, and this is usually with noob killers. This is usually with killers who have not played the game at all, like ever, and it's just starting, or they're high levels, and the only reason they're high levels is because of them always, face guarding and everything. The second, okay, so, and the reason why Dead by Daylight is worse with that than what Friday is, out of all the times I've seen a killer in Friday the 13th, never have I ever seen them camp something. Yeah, they'll put bear traps at the cars, the phone, but realistically, they don't camp it because but Jason, you get grabbed once, you're dead. With Dead by Daylight, it always at least takes 2 without them using their power to kill somebody, to knock them down and to put them on the hook. Otherwise, you're perfectly fine. You're not. And then also unlike Friday the 13th, there are different set perks to where you can heal yourself without a med kit, without a med spray. There's self-care. So that's also a potentially a big reason why people will camp. I'm not going to be sitting here saying, oh, I understand. I don't understand, and if you guys have seen me face killers that camp before, I disconnect because, even though that does still give them a kill bonus, that does not make it right. But yeah, like I said, Friday the 13th I've never really seen a Jason camp a counselor, because what is the point? Like, Jason will kill you in one time and then you're done. You're not, you don't go down in the dying state and have to take him to hook him somewhere. You just kill him. And with the cars, like I said, you put bear traps on them. Yeah, they're going to have pocket knives, but you'll see them on your map once you look and see that a flashing red light where you put a trap is not there anymore. Then you're like, oh shit, or you'll hear it go off. So, and you have a quick way of getting back to it. So, there's that. One of the good things about Friday the 13th I believe is better than what Dead by Daylight does, and this is purely on the reason why. This is purely on how I look at when it comes to a horror game. I personally look at it as this. I think that the survival skills in Friday the 13th are more required than what Dead by Daylight is, which a lot of people will disagree with me about, but hear me out on this. You have, yeah, a lot of people will look at me and say, but Jacob, but man, we have a gun, or we have a flare gun that can shoot at Jason and knock him down, and there we go. Yeah, but he doesn't stay down. What's worse is that he gets up pretty quick and will still come right after you, and you only have one shot in that. And also, not to mention, if Jason's after you, he has ways of making it to where he can get in front of you pretty easy, way easier than what a killer is, just by walking behind you and, easily keeping up with you. There's a pretty big difference with that because you'd have to pretty much do a U-turn trying to get back. Secondly, sometimes you don't hear when Jason's coming and he can just appear right there and grab you. And speaking of the grab, this makes it potentially the biggest reason why survival skills takes a lot more. Friday the 13th requires a lot more survival skill than what Dead by Daylight does. In Friday the 13th, you can get grabbed and killed in one time. If you do not have a pocket knife, or if you do not have a friend coming up behind him and hitting him, you're dead. In Dead by Daylight, yay. A killer can come behind you, take you immediately off the generator, or grab you while you're trying to slide on a pallet, or even trying to jump out, jump through a, vault over a window. If the killer times it right and he tried to do that, you will catch them, you will be able to pull them off and immediately take them to a hook. That's still not a one shot though. You can still wiggle out of the grab and put them on and if you get on a hook, you can easily get off. You can get out of Jason's grab. Wait, it takes a hell of a spam in the X button to do it. But yeah, you can do it. But he grabs you again, there ain't gonna be no, oh, this is my second time. No, it's gonna be, he grabbed you, you're gonna die. Unless again, like I said, a partner's there hitting Jason from the back, he drops you and you can run. Or you have a pocket knife. Otherwise, you're basically screwed at that point. But yeah, like I said, that's the reason why I'm saying Friday the 13th has a lot more, has a bigger tendency of using survival skills than what Dead by Daylight does. Also, another big reason, and this one's painful for me to say. It is very detrimental about having survival skills, especially if one of your teammates turn on you. Which a lot of people will do that just to be a complete ass, and some people will do it because they actually have something against you. Whichever the case may be, it's still a pain to see. It's still a very big pain to have to deal with your own teammate killing you, coming at you with the car. Which, it used to be where you can kill somebody with a gun, or you could just flat out keep constantly hitting them until they died. Yeah, like I said, like I'm saying, it used to be so much different. It used to be way more different than what it is now, to the point where anybody could kill you. And bad thing was, people did it to do it. People did it just to be that way. And it was always like, really? Why? But they changed it up, so there's that. Now switching off from a great difference to the bad difference now is the bad deal with Friday the 13th that's not as bad as what it is in Dead by Daylight is that what is it? I had one. Well, for most of it, the pretty bad thing is the kill is exactly what I just explained. The partner killing, your own teammates killing you. In Dead by Daylight, there's really no way in the world that your teammate can technically kill you. The only necessary way that a teammate can really, not kill you, but cause you to die, is dropping a pallet in front of you when the killer's behind you and you're one hit, or just leaving you to die, like he's found the hatch and he's just sitting there waiting, and then, which he could easily come and get you off the hook, but he doesn't. That's necessarily, like I said, that's not necessarily him killing you, but, that's kind of crippling you from surviving. But in this game, they can physically kill you. Like I explained earlier, there used to be a time where, they could shoot you, with the gun, beat you to death with a weapon, and, the game would say you're dead because of it. But like I said, they changed that. But like I said, with a Dead by Daylight standard, the only way a survivor can kill you is really if they drop a pallet in front of you when you're one hit, or if they just, don't save you from the hook. That's really the only way you can necessarily say they killed you, is that, they they kept themselves from helping you, therefore that caused you to die. So yeah. And we're almost done with the stream after this round. So I'm just gonna end this last one for making it an even pretty, you know, both bad scenario. Well, I'll do both good and both bad. Now, with the both good, it is these two games, even though they are competitors, they both did the one thing right that everybody is enjoying. First of all, in Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th looking eyes for their fans, they get to play different type of Jasons. Not only to also mention, they can now play their favorite Jason and have their favorite weapon equipped to him from any of the Jasons. Pickaxe all the way to Part 9's axe. They did that really good where, you know, you can make a customizable Jason with the blood on the suits. Pick your favorite Jason and pick the favorite weapon. That's any real fan of Jason's dream, you know. Be part 8 but carry around a freaking machete. Not to also mention, guys, the kills, it actually changes the weapon kills for the Part 8 is selected to always have the fire axe. Now you don't get to see. Now you don't have to just flat out say, now I only get 3 kills with the fire axe in Part 8, Jason. No, you get all the sets of that weapon. Those weapon kills are now transferred over to that Jason when you have that weapon equipped. So it's like, oh, nice! I get to see Part 8 use a pickaxe and twist a man's head around, or I get to see Part 4 cut a man's head off with the axe. So they did good with that. They thought of the fans saying, oh, we want this Jason to do this type of kill. Now they made it to where that Jason could do that type of kill. So it is... so really, in all reality, that's good. Now, one of the best things that Dead by Daylight did that is one of the matches up with what Friday the 13th did, is that instead of doing that with like one set killer and doing different weapons, they made it to where every all the killers are unique. Like, they didn't have just one killer, they had many killers that all had their unique set of power. Which that's one thing that both Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight have done really good with the game. What's up, Samuel? Is that Friday made it to where you could be any Jason and have any different weapon with that weapons weapon kills. And then with Dead by Daylight, you have completely different characters that have different you know, different skills. It's, you know, it's really good. You get to play your own killer, and then you get to play your own Jason that you can put a totally different weapon on, and it's just Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight did that equally good. No one really did it better. Yeah, I did mention that, Samuel. I mentioned that in the live stream earlier.
You want some more?
Are you kidding me? Come on.
Why won't you fucking die?
Sure, Samuel. But yeah, anyway, guys, basically the,
Why won't you fucking die?
okay, number what's up? Fit Team Burger King foot lettuce with foot fungus might actually be what you get with employee wearing shoes and stepping on the lettuce. I get it. Nah, man was telling me a joke. I have nothing against Burger King. I like Burger King. Aladdin. No, it's Alex. This man just called you that. This man just called you Aladdin. I have no idea. It's just this man in the stream that's called Samuel. Yeah, I hate to say it, guys, but I think I'm dead because Tommy didn't show up. Wait, did anybody even call Tommy? Yeah, Tommy's called. Why the fuck is he not coming? I already had BO4. Here, Santa Jason. Nah, he's part 8. I couldn't really do anything, guys, because of the fact that Tommy didn't show up, and yeah, I couldn't really do anything. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm going to be ending the stream. It reached an hour. So yeah, guys, with that being said, peace, love you guys, and I hope you guys like the discussion topic.